So, as I just mentioned, we're going to practice with this concept of volition today, or the Sanskrit word for this term, I believe, is sankara. Hope I don't have that wrong. We'll delete the beginning if I got it wrong. So, if you haven't already, you can get yourself situated in a way that's comfortable. I'm also going to adjust my sound, as I know sometimes my sound gets quiet. So I've just increased it. You might need to quiet me back down now. And just take a moment to take stock of your current circumstance. So nice seeing all of your lovely faces. We've done hours of practice together with each of you. I've practiced for hours. We've all practiced hours together. So just notice what happens with a simple instruction. Just take stock of your situation right now. You know the rest. What if I say settle into your situation right now? Notice what happens for you. Where does your mind go? What if I say, notice something that you're not normally inclined to pay attention to? Notice something you normally don't. What are you missing right now? And notice how your mind orients to that. Sometimes we know what we don't know. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Within all of that, breathing gently, breathing caringly, breathing pleasantly. Mind drifts. Come back to just breathing pleasantly. And I might even suggest, see if you can just capture what this imprint of pleasant experience is. One breath at a time, just lean into that. If you want to count your breath, if that's supportive, you're welcome to. You want to notice your breath at some point in the body. Welcome to. Notice the tendency to fight or tighten up when your mind gets stirred up. Do your best to not get involved in the drama of your mind. Difficult, very difficult. Comes in subtle ways like, I should be doing a better job paying attention. Something as simple as that actually just feeds back into the drama and distraction. Distraction is a normal part of the mindfulness process. Best if you can not be distracted by distraction. Just allow distraction to be there without the extra layer. One breath. What does this breath feel like? It's choosing a single way to pay attention to your breath. Just one. Anyone. Notice any tightness or resistance that emerges when thoughts try to pull at you. So, in that, you're noticing the negative feeling tones. If they're there, don't need to make them if they're not there. And also notice any positive feeling tone emerging from your pleasant style of breathing, from settling your body, growing distance from your thoughts, even if it's growing very slowly. When there's parts that feel good, notice that feel good. What does that feel like? Where does it feel? When there's parts that feel bad, how does this feel bad? How do I know that it feels bad? You might not even have an answer to that question, just leaning into it, searching for it, anyways, in your body, in your mind. How do I know that this actually feels bad? There's a subtle, very quick step that happens. It's difficult to notice often. But as you alternate, just at the natural pace that your mind will go between noticing what's comfortable and noticing what's uncomfortable, your mind is actually doing this even when you don't recognize it. So we're just trying to pick up some small percentage of what it's already noticing. Now a pleasant experience, now an unpleasant experience. Sometimes you might be able to catch a moment where you recognize what something is. I'll give you an example, real example. I ate way too much for lunch. And as I'm breathing into my belly, having some moments of recognition that my belly's full. First, I notice an experience, notice that I don't like it. And then there's almost this instantaneous flip where I notice, ah, lunch. That's that kind of recognition or labeling we're looking for. Doesn't have to have words, just some familiarity with an experience. For you, maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's a certain kind of thought that bothers you, concern about an upcoming deadline or something like this. And first you notice an experience, and then you start to notice, ah, there's that thought. The recognition comes in. Maybe it's an ache in the body. There's an experience. There's a feeling of doesn't feel good. Then there's a recognition. Ah, there's that troublesome part of my body. See if you can just notice this process happening. Might not catch it every time. That's okay. Just being open to what's happening from your head to your toes, feeling what feels good, feeling what feels bad, noticing if your mind recognizes any of them as familiar. That's all. Just some recognition of familiarity. Still breathing gently as your anchor. One gentle breath at a time. Let these experiences come to you. You don't need to seek them out. Just be open to noticing. Feels good, feels bad. Familiar, fresh, familiar, familiar, fresh. Might even break down, how do I know that this is a familiar experience? Is there a feeling of familiarity? Where is it? What does it feel like? One breath at a time. Letting your mind wandering be a blessing, a reminder. Let it be part of the meditation. Ah, right. The frustration of not having control. Concern about doing it right. Defeating nature of a task I can't master. What is that like? Boredom. What is that like? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? How do you know it's boredom? And then we'll move into the final portion of this practice, volition. This can be difficult to recognize with thought patterns. So instead, let's switch to just paying attention to our breath. And what I'd like to recommend you do is notice your urge to breathe. When you exhale, exhale just slightly longer than what feels natural, and notice this urge to inhale. When you're inhaling, you'll reach a point at which you don't want to breathe anymore. Your urge to inhale is gone and very quickly gets replaced by an urge to exhale. See if you can locate that in your body. and flow with it. Just be curious. In your body, how does your body know? What's the feeling of wanting to breathe? What's the feeling of wanting to exhale? Breathe in when your body feels like breathing in. Breathe out when your body feels like breathing out. Simple, not easy. Simple, not easy. You might notice, applying our practice so far, if this urge to breathe feels comfortable or uncomfortable. Maybe there's some of both. Maybe there's a moment breathing that feels comfortable, where this is satiated, and then gets uncomfortable. Your body tells you a change is needed. Notice this. Notice your recognition of what it means. Notice too the way that this urge to breathe immediately translates into action. This is volition, will, reaction, the translation of a feeling to an intention, to a motive. Notice this motive to breathe in and the motive to breathe out as it arises. notice the motive to pay attention to thoughts, just the same as the motive to breathe. There's a motive, there's a reaction when a thought bubble starts appearing. To pay attention, notice that pull. That's volition, that's motive, that's feeling translating to action. And when you're satisfied with that, you can let go of it, let go of any intention to do any specific thing. Just sitting here and letting your mind do what it does, including wondering what it does and what it's supposed to do. Reading again from Dune, as I have been recently. There is in each of us an ancient force that takes and an ancient force that gives. There is in each of us an ancient force that takes and an ancient force that gives. As you're ready, you can begin the process of coming back. Deeper breaths, small movements, stretches. Ferocious cracking of necks and backs. And whenever you're ready, coming back visually as well. I'll close the recording.